Now, I don't like CGIing actors that have passed away. Now, just stop it. It upsets me.
Hello.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And today, going to talk a little bit about Sopranos season number 3. Working my way through this fantastic show, a show that I never got a chance to check out when it first came out. Even though I love mobster movies and TV shows and gangster stuff, this is one of my favorite genres. Finally now getting to it, really enjoying the show. I do have some nitpicks about season 3 I'll get to, but overall, thought it was a pretty solid season. A lot of really interesting storylines. That's kind of what dominates this season, just storyline after storyline. Some of them I don't think are part of the overarching, story of The Sopranos through the entire saga. A lot of them are just going to be confined to this season, which I can kind of tell. I'm hoping that's not the case because some of these storylines are really interesting and they seem to just be, abandoned, and I'm really curious where they're going to go, but I have a feeling they're not going anywhere. You got Tony continuing to have a problem with his panic attacks. He actually passes out from checking out a box of Uncle Ben's rice. Which is a moment that a lot of people remember because, he gets upset at, Meadow's new boyfriend because he's black and that ain't going to work, or he's half black, but still that ain't going to work. So you have Tony, I don't know if he's just a total absolute racist, thinks black people are inferior or anything. I think it's more that he just wants his family's got to stay, traditional. You marry an Italian. You can't marry outside of that. And, the blacks marry the blacks, Italians marry Italians. It's how it's got to be. So he's old school like that, and gets upset at the boyfriend, and then he ends up looking at a box of Uncle Ben's rice, and boom, hits the ground. You got this character Ralph, who is an absolute psychopath, entertaining to watch for the most part when he's not killing innocent girls, but the dude is absolutely insane. And I can't wait for him to get whacked. A lot of drama with the family. Janice, still not a fan of Janice, just getting worse. I don't like her at all. And the kids aren't much better. AJ is just annoying as all hell. Is this kid ever going to straighten out? I don't think so. You have Meadow going to college, and she's not the sharpest knife in the drawer from what I can tell right now. I think she has more potential. Obviously, she's smarter than AJ, or at least she has more together than AJ. She has a brighter future than AJ. But I'm worried about her as well, some of her decision making. But overall, still a lot of fun watching this show. How Tony balances his mob life with his family life, with his mental health. Still seeing, of course, Dr. Melfi. Lots of storylines with that I'll talk about, and just a really powerful season right here in season 3. And you have that great episode where Christopher and Polly are out in the snow, and they have this Russian guy that they're supposed to whack, but this Russian guy's like a Jason Bourne operative, like crazy skilled, guy who ends up getting away. Polly takes a shot at him. I think it's Polly who shoots at him, but anyway, he thinks he's got him, but they can't find the body, so he pretty much got away. That's never revisited. I don't know if that ever is, and I've heard a lot of talk about how that never gets resolved in this entire saga. So it's like, are you kidding me? That's never going to get resolved? Apparently not. So that's crazy that never gets resolved. And that's not the only thing in this episode that apparently never gets resolved, or that I have a feeling might never get resolved. And that's my main gripe about it. I'll get more into that. But I did think that the Ralph storyline, this character is just, like I said, there's this girl that he meets, this really sweet girl. She is a dancer, and so she works for Tony. She's actually talking to Tony a little too much. Tony's like, why are you talking to me, son? You get up there, do your job. That's it. But he is nice to her. He's very polite to her. And she has something going on with Ralph. They ended up in an argument, and Ralph beats the hell out of her to death, beats her to death. And when Tony finds out, he rightfully punches Ralph in the face. They get into a fight, and then it's causing a lot of drama because, this guy is a made guy. You can't just hit him. But I think, you can't hit the dude when he just beat a girl to death, my employee, one of my dancers, someone who I've met, who I know. You just beat the hell out of her and killed her, and I can't punch you? But that's, they got their own mob rules. But I thought he had that coming to him and more. And I cannot wait for the day that Ralph gets whacked. because this dude has it coming. This guy is absolute trash. This dude is, I mean, he is, whoo, he's nuts. But one of my favorite storyline is Jackie Jr. This is a kid that becomes the boyfriend of Meadow, but this guy never liked this guy. This guy's, Mr. Tough Guy, thinks he's all that, and I don't know. He just thinks he's something special. Tony's trying to get him on the right track. Tony's like, look, you're a smart kid, man. Get out. You're doing the wrong thing here. Stay out of these certain places that you're hanging out in. But he doesn't listen to him. He continues forward with that, and obviously, then him and his boys decide they're gonna do some hit on the mob. They're going to steal some money, do something, and then they're going to become big gangsters. These guys are idiots. He might be book smart in some ways. That's why Tony's trying to protect him. But these guys are absolute morons. So I can't, I'm watching them do this like, yeah, this is going to be bad. And they go through it, and of course, everyone's going to get killed. And it's just complete morons. Trying to send AJ to military school. Again, AJ, annoying kid, just can't stand the kid. But he ends up passing out as they put him in the military uniform. Obviously, he's got the same condition as his dad with the panic attacks. It was funny, a scene earlier, I think it was season 2, but I think it was the end of season 2, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure. But when he's on the football team, and he's boom, passes out. I think everyone's complimenting him, and he just goes down. That was actually a funny moment. But here he passes out, so they find out he can't go to military school because he just passes out. That's not going to work. But one of the more intense scenes, of course, was Dr. Melfi getting raped by this. I mean, anyone who rapes a woman is obviously a piece of shit in general, but this guy just, shows up and assaults her brutally. This guy she finds out where he works. He was an employee of the month or something. And she thinks about telling Tony because, if Tony finds out, that's going to be it for that dude. Because he didn't, apparently there wasn't enough evidence or whatever. I don't know what happened, or they messed up the evidence in the evidentiary chain. He couldn't get charged. They couldn't send this dude to prison. If I was her, I'd have told Tony right away. But she never tells him. And it doesn't look like she's going to tell him. It looks like the storyline's been resolved and nothing's going to come of it. Like, seriously? Seriously? I can't believe that they're just going to abandon that storyline, but apparently that's the case. But it's just insane. But, I mean, it was an interesting storyline, and she was very much affected by it. But then by the end of the season, it seems to be just ancient history. So that's over. Then there was the FBI bugging Tony's house. They were making some progress, trying to get him to make some incriminating statements. But then Meadow ends up taking that lamp with the bug to her dorm. They're like, what? And that nothing else happened there. So that was pretty much it for that. I guess they were like, we tried. And I don't know if that's going to come back into play later. So a lot of interesting storylines that kind of just die. Also the Russian Janice, who I hate. I don't like Janice. I never like her. I never trusted her. But you have Janice, who steals the leg because, she has a prosthetic leg. The Russian girl steals her leg. How jacked up is that? That is horrible. And I know she had a reason. She wanted her records back or something from her mom, which she's going to sell anyway. Tony knows that. Yeah, these are special records. They mean something to our family. Tony's like, yeah, you're going to sell them on eBay. Stop it. And then she steals the Russian girl's leg. And then, of course, the Russian girl sends some Russian mobsters to get the leg back, and they have to rough up Janice. And now Tony's like, well, great. Now they roughed up my sister. Thanks, Janice. Now I got to retaliate. But that retaliation, I don't think really ever happens. I thought there was going to be a big old mob war. Nothing really happens. So a lot of storylines that kind of just die out. But still really interesting while they're going on, but they just nothing really comes of them. And then there's the infamous scene because, unfortunately, the actress that plays Livia passed away. So rest in peace to the actress who passed away. Nancy Marchand is her name. And they put this scene together where they CGI'd his mom's head on another lady's body. And I guess they wanted to have one last scene. But the problem is it wasn't even the CGI that was annoying about the scene. I didn't even notice it the first time. I saw something looked weird, a little off. But it was mainly the dialogue, because they just take old lines that she's said before. So you're like, she said that many times already. It sounds like the exact same way that she said that earlier, because it is the exact same way. They took lines from her earlier dialogue, not even stuff left on the cutting room floor, like from the actual show, and they put it in here, and it doesn't even make sense. Like, you couldn't find dialogue that could make a little more sense within the conversation. Like, he walks in, and the first thing she says is, look who calls. He's like, actually, I'm not calling, I'm standing right here. And then she says several things that just like random phrases that don't make a lot of sense. Like when she said, what is it? Tell me. What's wrong? Tell me. all he did was say, hey, I brought these books on tape. She said, what's wrong? Tell me. And, he's like, I can't do something nice without you thinking something's wrong. That's how they put that. But the way she responded, it wasn't like, it didn't fit. If she thought something was wrong because he was giving her something, she would have said it in a different tone, in a different way. You just kind of know how people talk, when they say things, how they say things, how they respond to things. And it was weird. And you can tell they just dumped some old dialogue in there and tried to make it work. I guess it worked okay considering, but not that well. And I don't think it was a very good idea. I think it was weird. Anytime you try to do that stuff, even in like the new Rise of Skywalker movie, which sucks anyway. The whole Star Wars is garbage, despite me wearing the shirt. This is from the original trilogy right here, this shirt. It just is awkward. It's just weird. It doesn't work. You need the actor there. There are certain scenarios where maybe it works okay, but for the most part, I'm not for, CGIing actors that have passed away. I thought in Rogue One it worked pretty well, decent in that situation. But for the most part, then they did use a different voice. That's the thing about that. They had someone else voice him, Tarkin, in that movie. And so the dialogue at least fit. Instead of grabbing old dialogue that you're trying to shove it in and make it work, kind of like they did in Rise of Skywalker, kind of like they do here. And it doesn't work. It looks weird. You're better off not doing it, in my opinion. But hey, that was just a weird scene. The very infamous scene right there that people talk about. I think it was not the best thing. They should have just had her pass away. I think they would have been better off just having her pass away in between seasons, or just having her pass away like they did, give Tony the news. There was no need to make that I mean, there wasn't a need for it. Sometimes there maybe is a need. You're like, oh my God, as a main character, we got to do something we got to CGI, we got to do something to make the story make sense. They didn't have to do that. She was an old lady. They could have just had her pass away, and I don't think they had to do what they did with that CGI scene. I think it kind of put a damper on the whole season, to be honest. But yeah, lots of really awesome storylines that apparently never get resolved. I mean, we'll see, but yeah, most of these are not going to get resolved. We'll see where AJ goes. AJ's just a lost cause, in my opinion. But Christopher's a lot of fun to do, and we'll see where he goes, because he's a little worrisome as well. A lot of these people are just got problems, and you got to have problems to be in that life in the first place. We'll see though where everything goes. Really cool stuff here. You got Junior with his health problems and what's going to happen there, and of course Janice, the infamous Janice, who is just, I do not like Janice. I like Tony. I actually like Tony. I don't like Janice. So let me know what you guys thought of season 3. We're going to move our way through here. Season 4, season 5, season 6. And then we'll rank the babies. Have a great day. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe. We will talk to you next time.